There are a few more of these data types that we also are going to be using, so we might as well just look into those as well. One of them is something we already been trying to do. We've been using something called an array. So an array is a set of items, and we use this squared bracket, I think it's called, to put in different things here. So array could be the number 2, a string, let's go something else, false, could be whatever. Let's just stick with these 3 here. So right now we have an array which contains, so up here this only contains a number, this only contains a string of characters, this is true or false, where this array here is actually containing all 3 of them. So we can put more than one thing and store them into a variable by using an array in this example here. If I want to print this out, I'm still going to use array, but if we do this and go to our page and see what actually happens, it says it prints out all of them. So the first one is 2, the second one is string, third one is true. But one thing you need to see here is it actually starts with 0. So it starts with 0, then it goes 1, 2, where we would count from 1, 2, 3. The system or coding is most things like arrays and objects, they start from the value 0 and go 1 up. So if I only wanted to print out the number 2 here or string, I needed to make sure I have that in mind while doing this. Now I just printed out the entire array here. That's what it does, and actually shows me the length of this as well. But if I wanted to be more specific, say I only want to print out the word string here, then I would go to where I punched in my code for the array, I just typed it again, and I would use these squared brackets. So if I wanted to print out string, so I have to go look what number is this. This is the first number, not 0, but 1. So I type in 1, click OK, go back to my browser, refresh, and now it prints out string. So this is important to remember, that storing data in arrays and things like this, it starts with 0 and counts from there, not from 1. And again, if you change this to 2, it's going to type out true up here, and so on and so on. Another thing I just quickly want to show you, and something we're going to be using, right now we can see this contains 3 items, right? 2, string, and true. If for some reason we want to print out something we already did in Ionic, we want to print out all of these, or we want to do something specific depending on how many items there are in the array, like we did with our navigations or the boxes we created and so on, we can do something called a length. And the length will count how many different items are in here and print that value out. So once we click save, it's going to print out 1, 2, 3. So 3 in total. Over here it's going to say 3 because it's counting the amount of items in the array. This can vary a little bit if we actually do it instead of array, we type in string. So let's see what happens here. So let's try doing the length of a string. So right now this is, maybe you think this is going to print out 1, but it's actually not. It's going to print out how many is in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus 6, that's like 16 or something like this. That's correct. So 16 compared to 3. Even though this contains more information, it's counting the items in it, whereas this is being counted each character in it. So there's a difference between the length and how it calculates, and this is really useful when we get a little bit further into programming and that we actually know the length of the array, how many items, or the length of this one. We can really start using this going forward. But that's just another one. We also have objects, which we've been doing with the SAS maps, which we've been doing, I can't remember what we did with the deep links and so on and so on. So that's also a way to do it. And we also have something that's really important actually. The last one, it's called variable no data. Let's call it that. And we just use this. So we create a variable that's empty. Well, maybe we call it empty instead. And we can actually type that in here as well to see empty. What does that mean? It means it's 0, there's nothing in it, but we created a variable that's ready to be used later on to put information in or to reload something like a search or a filter or things like this. So this is also a data type that we're going to be looking into at some point. But that's just a few more examples of what data types can mean in JavaScript and how we can print some of them out and actually convert them to a number and things like this.